I'd got just a little oddment fragment of really well seasoned yew, and I just thought I'd make a little sort of natural edged shaped box. As you can see, it's a bit gnarly with a few splits in it, so we'll have to see how it goes. A bit gnarly and bangy to start with because there's a little root sticking out. Kept tightening it up to make sure it didn't slip on the crown drive. Soon get there. Then use the parting tool to put a tenon on the bottom and also clean up the top. As I'm going to make a lid out the top, it needs a tenon on that side as well, just a small one for the small jaws. And then need to start shaping it a bit more with a spindle gouge, and I've got to try and make sure I can shape the lid so that I allow the space for it to be parted off, so it needs a step to start with, as it'll be a sloping side. The yew's pretty hard, it's like iron, and I can see there's a few splits that will need some treatment later on. And now I've made the little flat spot, time to part it off. I'll try and leave a little telltale if I can, and then I'll reprofile it afterwards to make sure it all blends in. Using the slim parting tool, still needed some relief cuts to make sure it didn't bind, and then finished off with the pull saw to cut it off. Then with it securely mounted on the tenon, time to hollow it out. Using the 1/2 inch spindle gouge, recently acquired the Les Thorn one, which I have to say gives a really nice profile on the pro edge when you grind it, because the shape of the tool is specially done so it's not completely round, according to Les anyway, and it does give a lovely long grind on the pro edge. Then just using a skew to sort out the edge and produce the mortise for the tenon for the lid. And then I'm using the skew to help define the ledge for the mortise, and also to run the cut parallel to the side and down to the bottom using the skew as a scraper. Still getting pretty decent shavings rather than just dust, which is good, using it as a negative rake. Quite an effective way of just getting down there. I decided I wanted the lid to be a rattle fit rather than a tight fit to make it practical just to drop the lid into the recess. With that sized okay, then I just dressed off and finished the bottom and the corner to neaten it up. And then time to address the cracks, so quick coat of cellulose sanding sealer, and then CA glue and sawdust and coffee grounds into the cracks as usual. Using the palette knife to rub the coffee grounds in is quite effective to start with, and then while the glue is still a little bit wet, use a scrotty old bit of abrasive and sand it in, and that also fills the crack more effectively.
4-volt.
And then time to use the new Ryobi 4-volt rotary tool with a flat wheel on, just to get into some of the cracks and crevices. And then a good abrade all round through the grits, and then a little bit more cellulose sanding sealer when needed, and then finish it all off with some Yorkshire grit and buff it up. Once I'm sure that the Yorkshire grit's all been cleaned off, using some meths, then spraying some gloss lacquer on. Okay, so I've now got a little scrap of ebony, and I think it is actually ebony. So I'm just going to turn the finial now using the small round bar skew. It's ground with a 25-degree angle, and it's quite forgiving because it's so small. It doesn't cut in very easily to the ebony for the detail, so you do have to swap it around for sharper cuts with the regular sort of 15-degree angle skew, which is what that one's like. So once it's potted off down to about a 6mm spigot, so that can go in the lid, then finish it off and give it a coat of lacquer, nice and shiny. Okay, time to tackle the lid. So I put the little tenon on, so it's going on to my quite aged small O'Donnell jaws, and then time to dress and turn the inside. This time using the 3/8 spindle gouge, doing back cuts. There's a little detail, just wanted to leave a little pointy inverted finial at the bottom, just as a little detail on the inside of the lid. Braid all through the grits and finish off with Yorkshire grit on the inside. And then some lacquer on the inside prior to reversing it on the button jaws. Gently does it because obviously you've got the button jaws gripping the edge. I did actually finish the edge off so that hopefully I can just deal with the top. So just a simple little profile, and then I've got to pop a little hole in the middle for the finial that will go on in a minute. Okay, so that's done. Just time now to check all the finish. You can see there, oh yeah, that's the piece of scrap, the washer that bulked it out, which worked quite well. In fact, there were 2 bits of scrap there. Nice tight fit for the hole, for the finial. The finial's practical rather than hugely detailed and delicate because it's a box that's expected to be used. And the base is still on the chuck, just in case there was any disasters and I need to do something else with it. So just reversing it now in expansion mode on the standard jaws, and then time just to trim off the tenon on the bottom, making sure it's very slightly concave in case the wood warps, although this is, like I say earlier, it's like iron, so it's hardly likely to move.